Okay. Well, we're starting. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Good evening once again. Today we're going deep into it to continue the Making It Big book that we're reading from Femi Otedola, and of course we are currently on section 3, lesson 13. Leave family out of your business. Aminat Yewande I know is here to do justice to that chapter, that lesson. She's already smiling. Yay, I'm ready. I'm ready for what she's bringing. So um, thank you so much to everyone for joining. Thank you. It's good to see your faces again and to see everyone. So I'll just let Amina dive deep into it, and then we'll take, as usual, we'll take other people's feedback and comment once she has done the job. So yeah, over to you, Aminat. Please take it away. Thank you.
Aminat, you are muted. You need to unmute your mic.
Okay. Yes, it's unmuted now. So I think you can speak. So we just confirm.
Yeah, I can see you. Please kindly confirm if I'm audible enough.
Your voice is slightly lower than usual. So if you can maybe project, or if you're using Bluetooth or something, maybe speak directly.
What about now, sir?
It's still. Can you hear her? Can we hear
Your
her
voice
clearly?
is very low, Aminat. I want to check your audio. If you're using headset, maybe you should pull it out or just try it. It's very low.
Good evening, everyone.
Maybe sure. Okay.
So good evening. Can you please hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Aminat,
you.
are you using Bluetooth?
I'm not using Bluetooth. I'm using my normal phone.
Because it's not. It's very low and faint.
Okay. I guess I just have to bring it closer to my house.
Maybe if you can move a little bit closer, it might be better to your mic, or to the point where your mic is on your system.
All right. So good evening, everyone, and I'm so excited to be here today. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Aminat, it's very low.
It's still low.
Oh
Do you want to exit and join again? Maybe you want to try. Just exit and join again.
All right, let me do that.
Moses, over to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kazim. So while Aminat is, I see Gabriel's hand is up. But while Aminat is, Gabriel, I'll come to you in a bit, please. So while Aminat is trying to rejoin, I just want to say something about this chapter. And to be fair, this chapter is a very touchy one. And while I was reading it, I was like, some of the things he said made sense, but they were things that, when you say hard pill to swallow, there were things that I felt like, really? I mean, this is a new insight for me, because it said, leave family out of your business. But if you read that chapter closely, you notice that while the title of that lesson is leave family out of your business, Femi Otedola still gave certain criteria where you can as well, if those things are met, have a member of the family walk through the ropes into whatever what your business or your company. But I think the fair share of what the goal is for me in this chapter, I mean, before Aminat comes to do justice, let me just throw in my 2 cents, is don't let your family feel intimidated, entitled, and distracted from their own passion, from their own goal, from their own essence by the wealth of maybe another family member. And that's the direction I felt like hit me the most, because when things work, it's easy for people to align to say, yes, I want to go into this thing. My father is already, and quite all right. There are very valid reasons to do so. But then you still have to find that essence in yourself. Make sure that it is you within that core of yourself, aligning with your purpose. And if your purpose still says that you should go that direction, then you have to go and work and sweat it out, grow, grind, get the necessary tools, skill sets, competencies to be able to own it and to live that particular responsibility within that company. And there's something that experience teaches you that just coming in at the top cannot teach you. And I think that's just what Femi is trying to say, that for you to really head a company, you have to have lived the responsibilities, challenges, and all of those things. So that's where you know where it pinches the most. And that's how you'd be able to appreciate and really drive that company from where it was to where it's heading to. I don't know if Amina is back, but like I will just keep going, and then when she's on, please just maybe let me know, or she can drop a chat.
Yes, you can proceed. I'm watching it.
All right. So the first part of this is basically saying reasons why family should not be in your company, and those sets of reasons are very, very valid, I must say. And we've seen it time and time again where offspring of very important people, very, prominent businessmen will come in and they will not be able to live up to that expectation, mostly because they did not drive that vision from the ground up. Femi Otedola used his own experience with his father as the opening, and that was just the perfect. In fact, when I was hearing leave family out of your business, my mind first went back to, but your father did not leave you out of his business. Now that was the first, before I even started the chapter, my mind first thought, but your father, did not leave you. If he left you out of his business, you would not have been able to, go into the printing press, learn under him and all of that, and then go on to Xenon, and then go on to where you are now, basically. But I think while I now started reading into it, I began to understand why the title was Leave Family Out of Business, because he started pinpoint with that experience from his dad to say, yes, I learned under my dad. Yes, he mentored me, but I had to go and start from the scratch with him. I practically built the business with him. We worked on it together, opened it, went there, and the passion was there for me as well. Do you understand? So it's not just leave family out of your business. It is make sure that whatever your family or your offspring is bringing or doing, that they are aligned in terms of their passion, in terms of their purpose, in terms of where they want to be and how they want to grow. They see themselves and that business as one. Not necessarily because my father is this, and then it's easier for me to just go into directorship position or HOD or one of those things. But it's a hallmark of saying, no matter whose daughter or son you are, you cannot, let's say, skip the grind. You cannot skip the process, let me put it like that, because it's the process that makes you a good leader of a company or a business or an entrepreneur. It is those ups and downs, those challenges, those days when he was working non-stop, going to work to sit with the workers, building the tank farm, making sure that the tanks were there waiting for the oil or the ships that he was bringing in to come, not even having time for his own family. Most of those things take a part of you that you just cannot teach, or you cannot like explain to people. People cannot read it in a book. They cannot read it in an MBA class. Oh, fantastic. So they cannot read it in an MBA class. They cannot read it in maybe an Harvard course or something. They just need to live it for them to be able to own that bit and key into the vision of that company. That particular bit struck me, but I would still let Aminat go further and then maybe also take contributions from everyone else. Thank you. So, I don't know if you're fine now. Can you speak? Let's see.
if I'm audible enough now.
Oh, you are still not very audible. I mean,
So let me just.
okay.
So right about now, sir.
Much, much better. Perfect. This works.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for the glitch. So a proper good evening to everyone now. And
Aminat, your voice is still
Still
very
going
low.
low. Still
Very
going
low.
oh my goodness, is the universe against me today? Oh
Sometimes these
gosh.
devices can have a mind of their own.
Okay, so now let me just continue. Hopefully, it gets better along the way. And
Okay.
talking about this chapter 13 from Femi Otedola, he started with a story about his wife Nana when he wanted the kids brought into the business, and he actually pushed back. He was of the opinion that he's going to leave the children out of the business, and he explained something that Fort Oil was his vision and not that of the kids. And running it was something that they weren't equipped with. And interesting enough, he made an exception with his sister. I think his sister name is Lola. When he was juggling two demanding schedules, his morning being spent at AP, and the person who could fit into that position was no other than Lola, because she was experienced and she was able to handle that part for him. And the real lesson I saw behind that was that family not only belong in the business when they only belong in the business when they have earned their seats, and not when they are born into it. And also, he also talked about his own experience about working all through the department as his father's company, and he eventually grew tired of it. And it's not because the work was that hard, but because there was no passion driving him. And one thing I realized is that if um let's call it passion, drive, zeal, or whatever name you want to give it, without that fire, a person will shrink into whatever role that the person is being given instead of growing in it. And that made me think about some family that says it's a must for their kids to, take up a position that they don't even have interest in. And I want to ask this fair question, that why do we keep doing this to our next generation? Also, there's another scenario of kids saying, oh, this is what they want to study. Maybe they want to study engineering, and the father forcing them to say, no, you are studying medicine because that's what I want you to do. So let's just leave that aside for now. And he also talked about some reasons why families shouldn't run your business. He said they lack the experience, the required experience and skills needed. And this is mastery is not something that we learn through books alone. He made mention of that it takes years of practice to end that mastery stage. He also talked about the fact that it's neither their passion and not their calling. And people perform best where they're artists and not where their bloodline places them. And it's also about the fact that it breeds unhealthy rivalry among siblings, because who exactly do you want him to give the position of the CEO of that company among his kids? If he gives on the other, will be like, why didn't you put me in this position? I want that role, I want that position. So it is something that they need to work up their way to end that position. And of course, there are exceptions to some certain rules. You talked about the fact that, okay, let's remember the fact that when he used his sister Lola as the finance manager of his company, it's not because of the fact that Nana Lola is his sister, but because of the fact that Lola is experienced. So for any family member to earn a position, they need to work their way up, and it must also align with their passion and calling. He also talked about we encourage his children to discover and pursue their own passion, and we should also, let them benefit from our success. And this now brings me to the fact that at the end of the day, family is actually all we truly have at the end of the day. And businesses can fail or be sold, but family member remains. And we also talk about family strengthens our work-life balance. He also talked about how we, pamper his children with sense. There was a time he bought his children Ferraris, and not just because he wanted to, but he felt they needed this for their profession. He bought them a Ferrari each. And he also talked about the fact that there was a time he needed someone's help with something, I can't really remember, but he undervalues the person because of the type of car he drove in. So we need to, position ourselves well to, to earn more. We need to bring out ourselves as someone that, that can actually be given that large amounts of money. And let me just move to my own key takeaway. I've spent so much time before joining. So my honesty is just that in our personal lives, how are we going to, put this in our personal life? I would say that we shouldn't force people, or let me say myself, into paths just because it makes sense on paper. And passion is what sustains efforts after motivation runs out. And if we find ourselves doing something out of pressure rather than purpose, it might be worth pausing to ask. So in anything I do, I try to, ask myself, why am I doing this thing? If I do this thing, what will I benefit at the end of the day? Is this something I truly want? Is a question every one of us needs to, ask ourselves. Also in our professional lives, we should, let's say positions should be earned through competence and not connections. And also, what should I say? Okay, let's talk about our leaders and parents generally. We should support people's dreams instead of assigning our own dreams to them. And however however successful we become, we shouldn't let success replace the basics, which are mentorship, fairness among those that we lead. And yes, proper documentation, like we talked about that, because legacy isn't just about wealth, it's about the plan we leave behind for us. Thank you so much for the opportunity to say this, and I hope we've learned one or two. I'll open the door for everyone else to drop their take on this.
Thank you so much, Amina. Thank you so much. That was a very, very good one. I really appreciate it. Despite some of the technical challenges, that was a wonderful piece to deliver. Thank you. That was awesome. I see our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker's hand is up. I can see 36926. Okay, so I'll start with Mr. Hafiz, and then we'll go to the second hand as well.
Thank you, Moses. Very nice chapter, and thanks to the Kazin team for gifting me this book. Once again, this chapter is like a whole life. Like you can write another book off this chapter itself,
Correct.
Right? From this chapter, I really found out that this man, Femi Otedola, may not have gone to the Harvard of this world, but he's a very wise man. He's also a good guy, right? Having gifted, selling his Mercedes Benz to one Mr. Aslem at a very cheap price, right? Just for him to brand himself. And what's the teaching? What's the learning here? You want to go and take a project from a big man. You don't want him to price you down. You also, if you need to go and, borrow a car, go and borrow it. Just go like a big man so that you price yourself high. When he was talking about letting somebody run his company, when he had to be running two companies, he used the word trust, even though his sister, Lola, trust, and he mentioned the company the woman has run, right? All those things are very, very important, right? Do you know that I didn't know that Femi Ferrari, just like the man, the woman, Femi Ferrari. Anybody in this group, because that bears Femi, we're calling them Femi Ferrari now. So I didn't know that Otedola actually had another child before marrying Nana. You know, but when he mentioned that it might even be worse when the children are from different mother, I shook my head like this. I said, this guy is wise. So now, when I now got to know in another page that Nana was actually, I mean, the first child was actually not from Nana. I gave it to the woman because nobody could differentiate anything, right? Right from among the children, right? Another thing is that there is no need being funny with surprises. The man said he wanted to surprise the children with the car, but you know that 810,000 pounds might have been rejected because of colors. Ladies might say, oh, I don't like this color. The guy open up, go and pick your color. Pick whatever the spec that you want, right? So it's not every time that we need to be surprising people unnecessarily. And he gave it, the reasons why, you should not be considering, allowing family members, except they go through the ropes, they rise through the ropes. He gave the example of leadway assurance, although there's a little mistake there. Leadway assurance, and that's like a question somebody asked in the last hangar we had. The man asked, what if I read a book and I read another one that is a conflict, right? And the answer that Mr. Kazim gave was actually very spot on here. So go and ask somebody that really knows. Me, I work at the exchange. So leadway assurance, he said THO, Tunde Azan Udukale, as they call him, actually built the company to a publicly listed. Leadway assurance was never publicly listed. If you just Google, say, leadway assurance public company, Google will tell you no. So because me to add to leadway assurance is not listed now. So that's a slight one. And that also underscores the reason why that one is a special case. Do you understand? For a company to be transitioned from father to son, it will succeed more if it's a publicly listed company, because their books will be in the open, their company financials, they're accountable to the public, to all the shareholders, but they run a private company and it's one of the best insurance companies. Let me allow others to contribute. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. That was fantastic contribution. Thank you, Mr. Fizz. I mean, let me just move on. So let me not waste too much time. Okay, so next person is 369260. Please go ahead. I hope it's not a bot or AI.
Hey, Mr. Moses, I don't know if I'm that person because I know I thought I named my Zoom as Moshisani, but let me just speak on what Amina has said. So I really want to appreciate on the moderator, Amina, and what our keynote speaker just said. Honestly, I wouldn't like to shed more on it, but the point I want to drive at is when Femi said he also had the experience too when he spent the impact press salaries at Sir Shina Peter's Juju music in one night like that. And it could happen to anyone, honestly, because especially this Gen Z that they are actually, some of them are actually entertainment, they have entertainment mentality, and they just want to spend. They don't care how you gather the money together. So in that case, I could relate that particular story to where I actually came from, where a lot of people want to they just want to have a part of the cake. They don't care the kind of struggles the person that made the cake went through before baking it. So that's just a lighter note on that. So let me leave for that to also comment. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Moshood. It has actually now changed to Moshood Sani. I think maybe something was up why it didn't change that time. Thank you. That was great. Any other contributions? Aisha Adeshina, you want to also say something? I see your mic is unmuted. Okay. So, I mean, personally, I think that, I see those Ibrahim and up. So, yes, please go ahead. We have just 2 more minutes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'll just make my contribution very real quick. I was going to speak with the part that I had to do with perception, I think that part is really, really, when I read the book and I read that part, I was like, wow. Because I recall going to an event, and I just bought this white Lacoste, and this shirt from UK. And I was feeling fly. Unfortunately, a day before I had gone to a shambolic part of Ogun State where the roads were very, very bad. Right. So after the event, people were greeting a lot of those things. But I noticed that some people still stayed back. I didn't know what their motive was, but I drove out. And I recall that my tires are still very, very dirty because I didn't even have time to wash the car. And my mind now went to the father. Were these people not trying to see which kind of car this guy drives? And I said, oh, my tires are even so very dirty. Oh, and I felt bad. But so when I was reading this book, I was like, I think I should have probably washed my car, just to make everything in order. So, I mean, it's very, very key. These are some of the things that we need to look out for. So I could relate with it.
Yeah, awesome one. Awesome one. It happens to me too.
So
Takes the grace of
30
God all
seconds,
over.
Moses. I just want to stress the issue of will. When he was
Yeah.
saying that we should keep a legacy for people behind us by making a will to avoid chaos when we are no longer alive. That is also very important. Moses.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kazim. That's very, very key. Lastly, let me just touch on something. Marriage makes or mars. That particular section, I think we should all read it more than once because it hit me and it's still hitting me. So thank you so much. We can go on and on with this particular lesson for another, let's say 35 minutes, 1 hour, but we need to keep it short. So I want to say thank you. It's 8 o'clock. Really appreciate all of you for joining this session. We are grateful for the support that we've seen so far. We would also want to encourage you, if you want to review for the next lesson, please hit up any member of the Kaizen admin team, and we would be glad to have you take the next lesson. We would also be encouraged if you engage all our socials, our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X, as it's called. And then thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You've been amazing. And I want to say that having or continuing this review is something I look forward to every Saturday because of this community and this family. Let's keep the conversation. You took it out of my mouth. Let's keep the conversation going. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ramon. Cheers. Let's have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.